So I'm very honored to have got a chance to speak with you, Mr. Mukund Kumar. Thanks for carving out time to talk to me today.
Pleasure.
Heard a lot about your designer professional character workshop. It'd be really nice to hear it from you, some summary of what exactly it is.
Okay. The professional character is fundamentally a combination of the clarity and clutter, the lot of concepts that need to be clarified in the minds of the job seeker or a student, even in professionals, and they should constantly put their effort in establishing a characteristic trait which is their professional self. So here I am lending a shoulder to the students, the job seeker or the professional community in building these professional character attributes and knocking out the assumptions in their mind and establishing the right mindset so that they become a professionally qualified individual with the right professional character set in them.
Okay, so that definitely kind of establishes that it is going to be a huge value for the employer. But from an employee perspective, what does this program bring in for an individual? What is the benefit of me being or an individual being a professional?
Valid question. What motivates an employee to establish a professional character is something if I summarize your question back. So if you look at, let's start with the existence of a business. Every business exists primarily because of their customers. The businesses, they offer either a product or a service to the market. And the success of their business depends on the pleasant experience of their customer using the product or services. Imagine whatever that you sell to the market, if the customers are not getting an enjoyable experience of using it, be it a product or service, and that is not going to decide the success of a business. So if an employee is not catering their engagements in building a positive experience in the end customers of their business, then the purpose of hiring that employee is getting defeated. So this is where if a professional character is established in the mindset of an employee, he or she become a value creator by itself. So as a value creator, if they start embarking their journey, their professional journey, that's where a vertical growth is established. So fundamentally, this professional character, the one that we are referring to, is acting as a catalyst that enhances, improves their professional success. It equally contributes the success of the businesses where they are engaged with. At the meantime, as an individual professional, that professional will be an ever demanding individual with the power of a professional character. So they assume to be a value creator than a job seeker. Hope that addresses.
Seems like it's a win-win for both now.
Absolutely.
What is your recommendation? I mean, since you have yourself have been an industry veteran and have served in leadership position in various organizations, it's easily visible to you. I'm sure that you would have come across a lot of scenarios where you felt that this gap needs to be filled. Can you give a few examples that will help establish what you mean when you say the value creation from an employer perspective and the growth for an employee?
Okay, let me give it a try. Let's take the context of a job seeker bidding for an opportunity and a value creator who is bidding for an opportunity. The difference is two different mindsets. But these two individuals are carrying the same skills, same exposure, same qualifications, but how are they going to react or interact differently is something that I'm making an attempt to make you understand. So if it's a job seeker who bid for an opportunity, will always look at what is in it for me. I am looking for a job which offers me a good salary, which offers me a good growth and good benefits, and I'm willing to contribute anything which is asked to me to deliver. So that's where a job seeker typically responds in this way. The response of a job seeker is typically on these dimensions. But when it comes to a value creator, let's take an example of a retail analytics organization. This retail analytics organization offers analytics services to retail companies. And if a value creator who attempts to gain that opportunity of employment, his approach will be, he will be connected to the end objective of the organization. I'm just going to give you a different narrative there. The narrative is like this. If you can share me the last 3 quarters of data, I can leverage my analytics skills in building reports and dashboards and then uncover certain insights, something like I can show you which are the loss-making stock keeping unit that your organization has. Then I can uncover that and deliver that to you. Then that becomes an actionable insight. If you ask me what is that I can deliver in long term, in 3 months to 6 months time, then I would look at your reports and dashboards. I would try and deliver you one measurable improvement that can create an impact in the business. Say for example your reports and dashboards, which is taking too much of a time today in getting it opened up, then I can do some sort of a performance optimization with which the reports and dashboards can pop up very quickly. And I should be equally contributing enhancing the visibility of your sales team, how the business is improving or where they need a change. And also I can equally look at how do I engage an AI based analytics where instead of human performing the analytics, an AI engine performs the analytics and our AI engine delivers the insights or actions or recommendations, and this is where it makes a difference. So now we look at the context of a job seeker and a value creator. The value creator is constantly bothered about how he or she can create an impact in the business is pretty much visible in the narrative that I just shared. Correct? So this is one such example that I can look up to now, and there are many that can be uncovered maybe as we progress.
If I ask you this from your experience perspective, what is the percentage, if you would have seen, because I'm sure that every organization have all type of employees.
Correct.
They would have folks who just now you explained are with the job seeking mindset versus the one who are the value creators. So if I have to look at a contrast of it today or in your experience, what is the percentage of the folks who come with the value given, and that what makes sure that there is only very small percentage of people who grow in their careers?
It's typically low. I don't have a very precise measure about what percentage of the individual they are a value creator versus what percentage of a community of professionals they are a job seeker. But again, the majority are on the other side. There are less value creators than job seekers when you look at the market. So this is the need of the industry today.
You keep referring to the word job seeker. It seems like the folks who are looking out for a job. But I see that there is obviously a lot of value that this program can bring in the existing employer setup. Those who are working somewhere may not be seeking job, but how would this program, I definitely see that it can deliver a value. So what is your thought on that?
Again, you nailed it. If you look at the professionals, they are working in an engagement in an organization, in any engagement for that matter. If you look at any professional who is working in an organization, if these professionals are not carrying a value creation mindset, most of them are in the clutches of performing to a job description assigned on them. I would rather want to call them as order takers. Imagine a scenario where all your employees are holding the right mindset of value creation. That means all your forces are aligned on a common direction. There is something, a dream scenario for an entrepreneur. So the need of a professional character comes prominent in this context where even an entrepreneur or even a professional need to have this new intellect wherein all the forces are going to be aligned on a common direction of establishing a positive impact in the minds of customers, enhancing the customer experience continuously, constantly.
Let me probe you a little bit deeper into when you say the professional characters. What according to you, or I'm sure that it is a lot of element in your workshop, but what are some key aspects or characteristics that would define a professional character?
Okay, so this professional character comes with the two different dimensions primarily. One is the clarity of concepts, the set of concepts that we deliver, which adds a lot of clarity, rather which knocks out assumptions in the minds of individuals. And secondly, the other dimension is certain professional character attributes that we try and establish in the minds of professionals or the job seekers. Now when I say the clarity of concepts, you can equally call it as clarity in clutter, and it covers your integrated solutioning, your value creation mindset, your customer expectation management, a shift in mindset from a cost-oriented value delivery to an entrepreneurship-oriented value delivery, and many more. So if you look at an integrated solutioning, it typically touches the 3 dots of an engagement in the business, in any business for that matter. Primarily, the employee is the first dot, and employment organization is the second dot. And the third aspect is the customers. Imagine if an employee who is able to cut through the context of the employer organization and their end customers. So this is something that we call it as an integrated solutioning. When you look at value creation framework, it equally covers the context of innovation, automation, intelligent automation, and optimization. And most of the scenario, if you look at grossly, this value creation framework and the ingredients are misunderstood by the market. People assume innovation itself is automation, that itself is optimization, that itself is intelligent automation. There are certain differences between these 4 aspects of value creation framework. So through this workshop, we end up delivering a lot of clarity by way of simplifying these notions. And if you look at customer expectation management, what are the key pillars of customer expectation management? And how do you address those? And this is how the development of this professional character progresses. And when it comes to the professional character attributes, that's wherein it all starts with credibility, adaptability, accountability, and your willingness to collaborate, and your ethics and integrity, and also your mindset of solving problems. And how do you approach a critical conversation? By neutralizing your emotions, and the context of mindfulness, how mindfulness can be leveraged by an individual in the context of dealing with stress-filled scenarios. So a lot of these kind of contents are embedded as part of this program, and this need to be practiced.
Yeah, and I know that this is almost about a year since you have started delivering this workshop. So what kind of folks are reaching out to you today?
See, I have started this program by way of delivering the content to the student community first as part of my CSR initiative. So we have addressed a lot of district level colleges, state level colleges, national level institutions like NIT Calicut, IIM Kozhikode, and IIT Madras, and even BITS Pilani. So all these premium institutions along with the state level institutions are being catered by way of rendering the same workshop invariably. And also we are entering into the premise of delivering the same workshop to the professional world, where the professionals, they are already engaged with the tier 1, tier 2 organization. They also need this magical content that transform their mindset, with which they should be able to find an individual growth alongside the organizations also growing with this power of this mindset.
I'll slightly change the flow of where we are headed, and I want to hear from you and what your thought is that with AI coming in, a lot of jobs are getting taken over. I would say a lot of jobs are taken over by automation or AI for that matter, because the efficiencies are increasing. How would your program, and because human interventions would not go out, what is your take on that scenario? Where do you think that this program will help either the employers and the employee?
To the core, AI is meant to take over certain activities that a human does with certain fabricated intelligence that it earned by itself. If you look at AI, it's fundamentally mimic a human brain based on the way you tune that AI engine. But a character is built by way of practicing certain qualities. So we also know that AI ethics is a topic which is which is widely discussed in the market today. And AI ethics is just one aspect of my professional character. So if we can tune AI with all different permutations and combinations of the elements of professional character, maybe later in the future AI would be able to take over a few. But in the meantime, AI is something that a professional generally use it externally in delivering certain value to the market. But again, who do the design of it? Designing a solution and delivering a solution, AI is just an ingredient that accelerates it. You can use AI as an additional brain, but the character, the professional character, the clarity in concepts, and unless and until you have the right conceptual clarity, right, you'll not be able to do the proper prompt engineering. And AI fundamentally works based on the prompt engineering. So you need to have the clarity on concepts. But I am not degrading the power of AI, but AI, let it grow the way it is. Let it make the life easier for the human community and the professional world. Yeah. We all agree with that. But at the meantime, building a professional character is a new intellect and a value to a professional, and which is inevitable.
It seems that without a professional character, actually, it is very less likely for anybody to be able to deliver anything. True. Since majority of the job seeking mindset is taken over by AI. Giving
an example now. I have repeatedly mentioning the best skilled employee, if he or she is not a credible individual. Imagine you have an employee who can solve most of the complicated convoluted issues of an organization. Any complex solution requirement, that individual is able to solve it, and he is a riddle solver. Imagine if that individual do not honor the commitments and responding to the customers. Is it more of a damage that he or she is creating in the organization, or do you consider that as a merit?
No, it's damaging, definitely.
It's damaging. So now we can better understand the world today is hunting for acquiring new skills. But I'm just giving a different dimension to that. Okay, you continuously hunt for establishing new skills and intellect in your brain. Agreed. Practice it, which is equally needed by the market. But at the meantime, to drive those skills to success, right, you need a character in front.
I think you gave an insight to the cost-oriented value delivery versus the entrepreneur-oriented value delivery. Can you give a little bit more insights to that aspect?
Yes. With pleasure. So this cost-oriented value delivery, which is an old school of thought, wherein most of the employment organization businesses, they assume like reduced cost would impress their customer. They always look at cost engineering, where how they can deliver the services and product cheaper than before, and is typically the mindset of a cost-oriented value delivery. But today's world, people should think through the lens of entrepreneurship-oriented value delivery that add more convenience to their customers. They make their customers' life more simple, and the customers are willing to shed their wallet share for that. In simple terms, customers are willing to pay more for convenience. So today, how many of you go to a grocery shop and purchase your requirements or buy your daily needs by walking into a shop and buying it? Your convenience is redefined by this, the Zepto, Swiggy kind of, offerings which are there in the market. The Zepto and Swiggy kind of establishment which are there existing in the market. So it saves your time, energy, money. So somebody has thought through the lens of an entrepreneurship value creation that redefined the paradigm of delivering value to the customer. They have not fundamentally burned their brain in terms of reducing the cost, but rather they are innovating into newer dimensions. So which is what is needed by the market today. Even the world demands that. So this is called an evolution with the power of innovation.
And that is one of the aspects that you're training.
Exactly.
Would it be fine for me to say training, and what would be the difference between training? Because there are a lot of soft skill programs, there are a lot of different aspects where professionalism is taught. Could you give me a little bit of difference between the both?
We don't deliver a training in the context of establishing a professional character. It is all about igniting their brain with newer concepts by way of practicing it. I engage my audience with real world examples that we will have collaborative discussions, and then those discussions would eventually purpose to deliver, establish. Those discussions are purpose to establish the mindset that I am envisioning to establish in the minds of the audience. So it's training, you only deliver knowledge. Here you deliver content to practice, and which is all the real world extract. So I've been practicing in this industry for the last 26 years. The load of pleasant and unpleasant experiences that I had has made me to revisit my thought process and to extract a content that go useful for the organizations up next. So that's where this whole endeavor is residing.
Okay, now that we have established about what is designing a professional character, what is it that differentiates a value creator with a job seeker, or an employee who is just an order taker, your words. How much time investment is required for somebody to build that kind of mindset?
So it's a valid question. It's a very relevant question. We deliver this workshop in two different modes, online, offline. And the initial delivery can be done in 2 hours, where an audience can grab the peripheral understanding about this conceptual clarity and the character attributes in 2 hours time. But for my own employees, we deliver this as a 30 hours exclusive workshop spanned across 2 months of time. There we emphasize more towards practicing the concepts and the characters traits, but wherein the initial delivery that limits the peripheral delivery of the concepts and the contents. So this can be pursued maybe if somebody who is already having an exposure to the market or the industry, if they are smart enough, that 2 hours of delivery that they can internalize and they can practice by themselves. Otherwise, they can take the support of me and my team, that we should be able to deliver it as an exclusive workshop of 30 hours. And we can even customize it.
Would they need a refresher? Do you think that there is a need for even the practicing? Because practicing is something that you're using those concepts in your day-to-day and continuously using it as a best practice till it gets imbibed in me and I become a thorough, professional. I showcase that character in my professional attributes. But do you think it is important for us to keep staying close to the concepts?
It's extremely important to constantly monitor and continuously practice this. If you look at organizations, they have their L&D team, the learning and development team. There are certain trainings and certain workshops they conduct on a regular interval. Why? Because it's important to refresh those contents, and which is made mandatory for their employees. So similarly, this character building workshop need to run both on the first time mode and the refresher mode, just to make sure that every employees are inculcating, they are internalizing a professional character. So the result, there is nothing called, okay, I have established a professional character, period. That's not the way it should be taken up. This is evolving. This is constantly evolving. Like the world is modernizing, right? And it's a living content. And this need to be modernized. This need to be continuously practiced. This needs to be evolved.